Hey there, Space Cadets. This is Andrew Pawley, CFO, Chief Freaky Officer of Galaxafreaks.com. I hope you're doing well. I'm just setting up a live broadcast. Okay, and I'm just going to share that on my local profile as well so we can see what's going on. Okay. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so how you doing, Space Cadets? As I was saying, this is Andrew Pawley, Chief Freaky Officer at Galaxafreaks.com, and I'm really excited today because I'm going to be showing you all about this Cthulhu paper toy that you can make. And I'm very lucky enough to have been invited to make this doll from the Sweet Dreams Cthulhu team. And if you look at the link in the browser of this post, you'll see that Sweet Dreams Cthulhu is a fantastic children's book that is rocking up the scales in Kickstarter at the moment, and every single backer, no matter what your pledge, will get one of these Cthulhu paper toys to cut out and make. Alright, looks pretty rad, doesn't it? Now, if you're wondering what I look like, I look a little bit like this as well. Alright, so I'm Andrew Pawley. I create a comic book called Galaxafreaks, and if you're coming to this stream via the C is for Cthulhu page, why don't you give my little page a like as well, and then you get to know me a little better. Okay, so if you back that wonderful Kickstarter Sweet Dreams Cthulhu, not only will you get the amazing pledges that are available to you, but every single backer gets a PDF that has download and make your own C is for Cthulhu paper toy. So we've got this one here in full colour, okay, for you to print out, or you could print out a version for colouring in with your sweet little Lovecraftian monsters. So you can get your little nipper to colour that in, and then we can you can cut that out and put it together. So this afternoon we're going to look at cutting these out, putting them together, and a few top tips, and we're going to be doing that with the colour net as well. So they're very simple to make, these toys. There are a few tips that I'm going to go through with you today to help you do a good job. Alright, so you're going to need, well, first of all, you're going to need the actual thing printed out. So let's talk about that first. You're going to need this printed on good stiff paper or thin card, something pretty sturdy but not too difficult to cut through. Most of the model can be cut out with a pair of scissors, although some of it, particularly around the mouth, around sort of the tentacles on the mouth, will need to be cut out with, well, what I call a craft knife. I think you guys in the States call it an X-Acto knife, maybe. And you might want a ruler for scoring out some lines whilst you're folding, and some glue to put it together. So I recommend that you use a good sort of rubbery sort of glue. This is called a neoprene glue here, sort of copy deck sort of glue, but of course a normal sort of standard Pritt stick glue stick is good as well. Okay, so let's have a look. So the net, the shape is divided into 4 basic elements. You have the head part, the body, the wings and the arms. And you'll notice that there's double wings and double arms because we want those to be back to back, and you can see on the model that the wings are on the front and back. So let's have a look about cutting this out. Now the majority of this can be cut out with scissors, so you can cut out the head, the body, the wings and the arms with scissors, but there are a few marks that I'm going to draw your attention to. I already talked about the tentacles, but there are some lines on the bottom of the head and the body that are quite difficult to cut out, that you will need to use a craft knife. So what I like to do is cut out all the different parts first, and again you can do this with scissors if you prefer. We cut those out just to make it easier for ourselves later, and put them out of the way. And I'm going to cut out the head first. So I like to cut out using a craft knife. So I'm going to use a ruler. Now this is a plastic ruler, but safety first, citizens. This has got a little metal strip. You've got to be careful if you're going to use a ruler and a craft knife together, because they can sometimes get slippage. So I'm going to line that up. I'm going to cut through the shapes. I'm going to go all along the horizontals first. Okay, so I'm really excited to see that Sweet Dreams Cthulhu Kickstarter has been rocketing along in Kickstarter, and if you're one of my Galaxa fans, I strongly recommend you follow that link and book up the really great offer. Alright, I'm now going to go along the verticals. Get them cut out as well. And then cut out just the diagonals on the tabs here. And we're soon getting this cut out, so you can see it's pretty quick. Obviously this is going to be quite difficult for younger family members, but that's why the colouring in one is a good one. Okay. Okay. So almost done here. Okay, so that's the head cut out, and that's going to be ready for scoring and folding. So to score is to gently crease the certain lines to help it fold in the right direction. So I use the back end of the scalpel blade. To just gently go along what is the dotted lines. Now, so before I do that, something to be aware of is that if you see on the front of the face, we have the mandibles or the tentacles, whatever you want to call them, and they go across, they go over the fold line. Now you don't want to score along this part here, because then the tentacles won't stick out. So I'm just looking on the camera, it's not quite there. Let's pull that down. Let's just see. I've got a bit of a delay on the video, so if I just pull that down there a bit, or in fact, yeah, there we go. Okay, sorry about that. So this area here, you don't want to score along there, okay, because you want the tentacles to stand out. So I'm going to score along the fold lines, not the tentacles. Okay. Just a gentle guide. If you press down too hard, you'll cut through. Now if you're doing this with scissors and you don't have an X-Acto knife, you can use the open scissors carefully, or you could use something like a pencil or ballpoint pen on the other side maybe, because you don't want to draw on this. And that will help it fold into a cube a little later. And it's a good idea to test all the folding before you start gluing, because once you've got the glue in place, that's it. So we'll fold this into place. It's going to be hopefully, because I haven't done that, means I probably haven't done that right. So store, fold, fold. Okay, so that's good to go everywhere apart from the mouth. So let's do that now. And this is one of the tricky parts. So I'm going to cut around the tentacles with my blade. I tend to do a semicircle one way and a semicircle the other. Now I've got a really nice cutting mat here, which helps cut, but don't ever cut it just straight onto a hard surface, particularly because it will damage the surface underneath, but also can cause the blade to break, can make it snap out, you can lose control and slide and slip and cut yourself. So make sure that you've got something soft, like a good strong piece of card, like the back of a sketchbook or something like that. I'm just going to score the little bits either side of that, and then we're going to be ready to glue that up. Okay, so you can see there that's come out now, and that's made the tentacles come out. Oh, okay. Alright, I'm just going to leave that there. I'm just going to double check something on my feed a moment. Okay, I want to make sure that this has been shared. So we've got that cut out. We're going to look at using some glue now. Okay, so we're going to glue this together. So I like to use a sort of really stinky rubber glue. Okay, so it does the trick though. You can use just a normal glue stick, but I like to use this. So quickly, this Pawley made a mistake. Right, before we glue that, there are two slots underneath the head that need cutting. Really important. That's where the body sticks later. So let's glue this together. So I'm going to put a little run of glue across here. A little big dollop there. Spread that out. Give that a hold and a pinch. Okay, now often when you're gluing, less is more. Alright, so it's better to have less glue and more of a press, more pressure to glue that together, hold it in place. So you want to give that a pinch for a few seconds. Okay, nice view of my watch strap there. Sorry, I'll move back down here into the correct area for a few seconds, and then we're just going to go around, do the next side. And hold that into place. And you're just going to go around and around. It gets progressively trickier as you go around, but it's not too difficult. And to save time, for you British viewers, here's one I prepared earlier. Okay, so here's the Cthulhu head all glued together. Alright, looking pretty neat. You can see I've got the holes here to put the body into. Okay, so let's move on to the body. So again, I'm going to use the scalpel to cut around with this. Now, what you can do, what I find, is that using scalpel is very good for straight lines, but not so good for cuts. So what I like to do is use the scalpel for straight lines and then just get in there with the scissors to do the curves. Okay, in fact you could. Things like this sometimes are a bit quicker with scissors anyway, so snip, just to prove that you don't need a craft knife for most of it. Let's use the scissors. Snip, snip. And again, really good for getting those curves in. It'll be a bit dexterous, but it shouldn't be too bad. There we go. Here's one I cut out earlier. Now on the arms, sorry, on the body, there are score lines and also cut lines, and those cut lines are important because that's where you're going to slot the hands into in a moment. Okay, so let's get that slotted in here. And score along the fold lines. And then that's going to glue together nicely as well. Now, is my video getting a bit dark? I wonder if it is. I'm going to put the darkest over there. It's quite tricky getting the lighting correct on this sort of thing, so I might completely bleach it out, we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to put a little dollop of, that's nicer actually, isn't it? Put a little dollop of glue along there. Hold that into place then, and let that set. And that's going to be our body done. Okay, so we're going to put that to one side to set, to dry, whilst we move on to do the wings. The wings are again pretty good to use scissors with. I think we can cut these out pretty quickly. Now I've deliberately done a reasonably wide line on the wings so that when you cut it out later on we're going to sort of stick them together and trim back and front so that hopefully we don't have too much white space. I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, so here's two that I've done, and we're going to glue those together. So we'll put a little bit of glue here, dash of glue there. You might want to use a Pritt stick, a glue stick for this one actually. This plastic, the rubber glue isn't quite so good for that. Put those together. Okay, and then we've got our two wings. So the trouble is, of course, they've got little white bits where we've obviously not cut them out quite the same shape, so you might want to give them a little trim, depending on how exact you're happy to be with the design, really. Okay. Alright, so that's the wings. So we've got head, body, wings, and they're pretty easy. The fiddliest bit is the hands. I find the arms. Okay, and the arms are really, really fiddly. So let's have a look at doing those, and then we'll look at putting them all together. And again, the hands you can do with scissors, if you're good with a pair of scissors. And again, in some ways, doing these sorts of shapes with a knife, unless you're really well practiced with a knife, with a scalpel or cutting knife, you're going to find it quite tricky. So it's always good to approach from different angles. Those little thumbs are quite tricky to get out. And if you end up cutting the thumbs off, it doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, so got my arms and they're ready to glue together. So I'm going to put a little spread of glue and fold them in half and pinch them together. Okay. Now again, just like the wings, you can trim off any sort of white overhang if you really want to, or you might not be that fussed. Okay. Alright, so there we go. So we've got all our parts. Now let's put them together. So we're going to put the body in the head here. So we made these little cuts earlier. It can be a good idea just to carefully stick your craft knife in and give it a wiggle, because it's easier if they're opened up a little bit. Same on the body there. Okay, so you can get that in there. Okay, so then I'll stick the body in to the head. Okay, there we go. It's looking pretty good already. I'm going to put in the arms. They can be a bit fiddly. You might want to put the arms in before you attach the body to the head. Actually, it might be a little top tip. That one's in there. And this one's in there. Okay, cool. Alright, so then we're going to just put a little score on either side of the middle of the wing. It's not marked on there, that just helps you fold that out into place. There you go. Now the wings only just fit in, but they look pretty cool. So a little dollop of glue down the middle. We attach that to Cthulhu's back there. Make sure you know where you're putting that. That goes on there. Alright, it's a little bit of overhang. And there we go. Alright, so there he is, looking pretty smart. Alright, so that's it. That's how you make a Sweet Dreams Cthulhu or Sears for Cthulhu paper toy. I hope that helped. please comment below if you want any top tips or any help with that. And of course, make sure that you go and back Sweet Dreams Cthulhu, because every single backer gets one of these lovely custom paper toys for free. Alright, how exciting is that? Alright, well, thanks a lot for watching. My little friends are just going to come in and say hello at the same time. Alright. You can get some of these if you sign up to Galaxafreaks.com as well. Alright, well, thank you very much for listening. I hope you had a good time. And let's just see, I've got to go over to here to stop this now. Let's go to videos. Can I end that? Professional to the end. Let's quit that.